Pressure makes diamonds, we don't back down. Power and purpose, yeah, we stand tall. It's our time, we gon' change it all.
All right, let's get started here. Do some more video reviews here. Get this started. Where we going? Where we going? Okay, drop this out of the way. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. January 26, 2025. What we got going on?
I want to ask you about refugee admissions, which were just suspended by the president. That has nothing to do with the U.S. border. Refugee screening takes 18 to 24 months to go through. They are heavily vetted. Left literally at the airport this week were thousands of Afghans, some of whom had worked with the United States government and were promised to come here. When you talked to us in August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. Exactly. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted. Good. These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted.
Yes.
Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here.
You don't know. You don't know.
While he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree.
Hello.
Hell yes.
Oh, all right, all right. What we got next here?
Who brung it to him. That's our challenge.
Okay, let's continue. Tracking the latest, as I showed you, Brooke Taylor of Fox News saying sources are telling her, law enforcement sources telling her, that the shooter in D.C. is in a...
We're going to move
Trump
along.
just delivered a side...
We're going to move along because TikTok, we had to watch those words.
Seismic blow to the Democrats' agenda, making one of the most drastic policy decisions that he has made since he took office the second time. And this comes as a direct result of the terrorist attack that occurred on Wednesday, leaving one National Guardsman killed and one in critical condition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to share with you is going to have massive political consequences,
this one already, so
and the left is going to absolutely melt down over this. But
plus the wording in TikTok. I swear to what are you talking about? All right, so talking about teachers here at school. I had Chris on earlier this week. We talked about it, but I didn't show this video.
Reasons why I decided to leave my public school teaching job and take a hard look at the systemic failures in our education system. But this isn't just about my journey, so I'm also going to share how this decision will help parents like you who want to ensure that your kids don't fall through the cracks. So let's dive in. The in-school suspension monitor to help her, and he was huge, like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Kindergarten Cop, but he was not trained to work with toddlers. On my planning periods, I went down the hall to check on her and help her out because she was barely holding on. And this is not uncommon. I mean, between the laundry list of responsibilities, piles of paperwork, and having to fight for the most basic supplies, teachers are on the struggle bus. And all the while, we're supposed to be inspiring and educating the next generation. Newsflash, the system is broken, y'all. And the real problem isn't even money. It's about the value that society places on education. When you consistently underfund and undervalue something as vital as education, you get the results that we're seeing today.
Uh-oh.
It's the way that we approach education in this country. It's outdated, and we're not teaching the skills needed for 21st century jobs. This is not a quick fix, y'all, because the entire model needs to change. So a little bit about me. I'm Gabrielle Bryant.
But I'd like to hear more about what you think it is that needs to be fixed and how you'll go about it. So we won't get too much into that, but skip up a little bit, because I have a problem with unions and sometimes how they want to fix things.
I spent over the years, but all I can say is that my husband shook his head at me while I constantly shopped on Amazon, Scholastic, discount, every student individualized attention. And let's not even talk about the lack of proper support for kids with special needs. The special education teacher workload is ridiculous.
That's why I say, for those with special needs and different things, you can't get them in charter schools. You can't get them in different schools. So that should be the focus of the state. That's the kind of service they can do. But teaching should be by choice, but from the parent to take their children to high performance schools. Not everybody can do it, but we're going to have to meet and succeed and exceed what China, Japan, and other Russia and everybody else is doing. We cannot hold the students that can achieve back or interfere with them because we have those who cannot. Some people, and I said this the other night, some people, we're in a race. Some people will start off, they will shoot out the starting blocks and go so far, and that's it. They burn out. They don't reach a lot of their life goals. They're just, high performers, but for whatever reason, they misjudged the course and they didn't make it. Others are going to start off awful slow. I was one of those slow students. However, perseverance. Tell me how bad I am. Go ahead. And I will make it my life journey to make you wrong. Because you're looking at data, and I just needed inspiration. And then I outdid what my teachers did, and in most, different levels. Not too many of them got a PhD. So I said, I'm going to excel. Law enforcement, military, I tried to be the best I could be. So that sort of thing is what is needed. Failure is an option. Failure is part of the process of winning. You fall down, you get up. How you think we learn as children. But giving everybody a win, they're not allowed to build that muscle memory and that muscle that needs to sustain them when they're up mentally and physically. You can't mama and dad them the rest of their life. You got to let them go out in the world and find their mistakes. So what I'm saying here is, I'd like to hear more about what she is talking about. This is Parents for Literacy. Yes, there are this problem that I have with educators. One thing doesn't fit all. Not everybody can fit into that mold they want to mold them into. We need technical skills. Not everybody need to go to Harvard. Okay, we need technical skills. We need technical schools. We need somebody who can start off making $80,000 without that $180,000 college bill. So don't tell me the system broke and you just going to pile on more of what you think they need. I want to hear about the process. What are you going about? Public policy administration is a go. Education, there is, that's that feel, and they can get down to the nit and the gritty. But I want to know what policy and procedure you're going to set in place and how you're going to achieve your goals. All right, let's go. Come on.
I mean, these students have accommodations, IEPs, 504s. These may require specialized attention. and they're put into classrooms that are at capacity with.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. When school choice is applied and we can get the high achievers into areas where they can achieve, we can deal with those that need more attention. You got to get the class sizes down, and you got to get the teachers what they need. So that's when it comes to money wise, what are we spending on? What are we doing? We need to automate, we need to doge everything. I don't trust educators or anybody else to run the money without oversight. We need to know what this money is used for and why. And teachers should not be spending out their personal money. That should come up. That's part of negotiating. What are the teachers unions negotiating for?
Only a part-time aide, making it impossible to fully handle their needs. I mean, the second grade teacher that was across the hall from me had the inclusion class with a mix of regular education and special needs students.
Wow.
She shared her part-time special education teacher with a fourth grade inclusion class on the other side of the building.
Wow.
So the special education teacher spent only half a day with each class. So during the other half, individualized attention significantly decreased.
I agree.
It's not only unfair to the students, but it's incredibly stressful for the teachers who are already juggling a million other responsibilities, including discipline issues.
Right.
Reason number 3, I quit teaching in public school. The overemphasis on standardized testing. This obsession creates a culture of teaching to the test rather than providing a well-rounded education. Schools are
I get it, but I get it. But what is the standard? We need to have some type of standard. We need to know that the job has been done. And yes, you're teaching that's everywhere. You go in the military, any perfection, you got to pass that test. Doctors, lawyers, they teach to the test. Now you get abroad, but you still got to be able to articulate what you learn. So
focused on meeting random benchmarks that we are churning out underachieving test takers instead of critical thinkers. For a lot of students, the curriculum isn't even relevant to their lives, and the system's focus on test scores over real learning only makes them more disengaged. They know we're not preparing them for the real world. They're not fooled, and they check out. The truth is, our education system is designed to produce mediocre results, not to inspire or empower students to reach their full potential. I mean, my district is spitting out proficiency levels on average around 30% across the board in all subject areas. That means 70% of our kids are not making the cut, yet they congratulating themselves like they're really doing something. Why are we patting ourselves on the back? And why is the superintendent getting a raise when kids can't read or write?
I agree on that.
I'm sorry, I digress. But maybe that's why the new administration wants to get rid of the Department of Education. And what would that look like for schools?
I hear a lot of complaining on this. I want some answers. You're telling me what you don't like. Now, and Democrats do that a lot. Tell me what you want to like. I am for dismantling the Department of Education, moving it back to the states. The 50 states will supervise it. And we can still have standards. The money can still flow, but I want to see return on investment. You're not talking my language. So that's a problem. And we can sit around the table and negotiate and work on it, but we still, the return on investment, I need to see what the kids can do afterwards. And if there's not a test, how are you going to prove to me? If you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, airline pilot, somebody, you got to be able to show the skills. So how are we going to do that?
That's a video for another day. Reason number 4, I quit teaching in public school. Teachers have little to no autonomy. I mean, we're given rigid cookie cutter lesson plan templates to fill out, and scripted academic programs or curriculum that don't consider individual students' needs or their learning styles. And what you end up with is a lack of motivation and enthusiasm from both the students.
I understand that, and I agree. And I taught in a prison, not for long, because I know it was going to be me and them. Because when they threatened to do bodily harm, I was a correctional officer for 6 years. I know how to take it to them. And so when you bring it to administration, oh, you got to control your class. Okay, all right. Somebody's leaving out here in the condition that then you want to put me under investigation. I said, forget y'all. Y'all not paying enough for me. But the thing of it is, I agree, but there has to be a standard. We can't have 100 teachers doing 100 different things. And yes, all right, so some are tactile, some are auditory, some are visual. I get it, love it. Um, I'm seeing that you still can blend it in there. You have some video. We had videos. We have some writing. You all three. They need to learn all three. Some are gonna learn best at one or two. You name it. It's like everything. It's not only visual. It's not only auditory. It's not only tactile. But at certain level, you learn a little bit from here, and you learn your student. But again, I'm hearing a lot of negativity, but I need to hear some positivity.
Students and the teachers. I mean, this is a one-size-fits-all approach, and it doesn't work. It just frustrates teachers, disengages the students, and stifles creativity in the classroom. And on top of that, we're constantly being evaluated with measurements that don't reflect our actual impact on student performance. The pressure creates a toxic work environment, and
still, I need to know what you want me to grade you on and how you want me to grade you. I need to know what's going on. Yes, you need supply. Yes, you need help. I agree. We can work that out, or we can, like I said, why are other schools that are not public doing so well? We need to mirror that, or we need to and invest in that. We need where they got discipline. They remove the discipline areas. Not everybody should be in that classroom. And then for the problem children, then you segregate them out. They still get in school, but some might have to do it at the juvenile center, because I've been there. I've seen what they do to each other. So I'm still looking for, and I might do a better, I'm using the speakers right now, but I might do one later on, see how this comes out, and do another one. I like what she's saying. I like that she's bringing this out, but we got to have a plan of action. Maybe I'm, I'm going I'm going along and reacting as I saw some of this before, but not all of it. So this is, I'm gonna put together criteria on evaluating her video and others, a format. What I'm asking her to do, I'm gonna do myself. So.
And teachers end up feeling micromanaged, and then they're afraid to be themselves or try anything new. I mean, public schools used to be places where teachers were respected and the students loved coming to learn.
Is she romanticizing school? Was it true? That's how she saw it as a student, but behind in the teachers' lounge, was it that way? So I need to know, again, I need to know some criteria that she wants to bring. I hear what she want to do, to a point, but I want to hear more about the corrective measures that she wants.
But sadly, today's schools are run by people who are out of touch because they either stopped teaching in the classroom years ago, or they never even set foot in a classroom to teach. Students.
I agree. However, they got to do some administrative work. And I agree, they are detached, but you're you are romanticizing their period of teaching, and now then, but then you bring it in the negative side that they're not in the classroom, and you want to bring in your style, which can be a problem because there's lawsuits, there's problems, and that you may everything you do is going to is push and pull. Will the students like it? Will they fall behind? So you're now wasting a year of their life. It's a lot of negative. Can be a lot of negative in that 1 year period that you're trying something new.
Some parents are disillusioned, the teachers are disgruntled, and the district is using smoke and mirrors to pretend that they're focused on growth and learning, and they're really just sending mixed messages about how well the students are actually performing.
I agree with that.
What we really have is a system that's focused on justifying a top-heavy leadership model while they're hiding the sad truth of our state standardized test results. And then they have the nerve to lay the accountability squarely at the feet of the teachers for all the poor test scores. The system is not designed to support students or teachers. It's designed to protect itself and survive.
I agree.
No matter the cost.
That's a bureaucracy.
I mean, I'll be honest. There were lots of times in my career when I just closed my door and taught the way I knew my kids needed me to teach. I mean, I never broke the rules, but I just tried to shut the district out, give my students some unique learning experiences, and have a come to Jesus meeting with them when they needed it. But early last year, everything changed. I was sitting in a grade level meeting with administrators. They were rolling out yet another idiotic initiative to make it look like we were educating some kids. And before I knew it, I blurted out, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because it's not in the best interest of my kids, and I'm not doing it just to check a box. That moment was a turning point for me because the rebel inside that I usually kept under wraps busted out, and that's when I knew it was time to go. The rest of the school year, I found myself being more and more rebellious in the name of what was best for my students, not caring whether or not I upset the apple cart. It became somewhat of a joke for my administrators to poke fun at me in the meetings about the fact that I kept saying, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. But I was tired of trying to work around all the roadblocks they constantly threw in my path. And I couldn't keep sacrificing my time, my well-being, my relationships, all for a system that wasn't helping students or teachers succeed anyway. The decision to quit teaching in public school was one of the hardest I've ever made. It was scary. And to be honest, I still don't know what's going to happen. But I was constantly stressed and...
All right, so we're going to come back to that maybe later. Maybe too early tomorrow. This is Friday night, almost 12 here. I'd like to get more into it, but I would like to focus more on it. And I got some other stuff that I want to cover. That is more in depth. I want to set up analysis of it, break it down. And I hear her talking about dismantlement, but it's two things. She doesn't want the top-down approach, which is the Department of Education. She wants the bottom-up, which even when and it's also in they give you a curriculum, and even in as an adjunct, they give you a curriculum, but you get to teach your way, within you got to cover the material. Maybe they don't, I said, I taught my way when I was in there. So I like I said, I didn't work in her district or whatever, but I did work in with students. Some were willing, but some had to play, and this is that culture thing. Working in a prison. Sometimes she might have felt she was working in one, but working in a prison where there's a stabbing, there's illicit activities happen between them and some female guards. It was a male prison. Generally it was what do you call youth offenders. It was like 17 to 27, 25, something like that. Anyway, so I feel her pain, but just breaking it down, and this, I mean, she got more views than I do. She got 422,000 on that one. It was posted 7 months ago. So she's doing awesome, and she's bringing a topic that needs to be brought, but we have to attack this a little different. It's like a, coming from the military, I need a attack plan. I need a workaround. I need to be able to go and look at the situation, analyze what is going on, and come up with a strategy that's better. I've been wanting to do it because working in it was a private prison, so which came under investigation after COVID because when we were, say we was teaching, but there was like I said, there was a incident happening with a blade or, a TikTok, I had to be careful. And there was a lockdown in that dorm. So I say I got 25 assigned, say 15 show up because the whole dorm is locked down or something for that, because it's 4 hours. 4 hours, I got these individuals who are young, boisterous, rebellious, 4 hours in the classroom, not an hour at a time, 4 hours. They got to ask permission to go to the bathroom. They got this, that, and another going on, and it's count time. There's a lot of things going on. So I would have to go down to the block and get them to sign. I'm a little slow. Like I said, I started off slow. I'm still a little slow on some things. It was, took me a while to get on the uptick on what was going on. Go down to the block and get the student to sign. Okay, I'm a good soldier. I go down there and get the student to sign, but then after a while, I was like, wait a minute. I didn't even read the paper. It was, hey, take this, go down and get them to sign. All right, go down and get them to sign. Hey, dude. Then they started saying, inmate been there for a while. They're crazy. They wilding out, but they got, hey man, why we got to sign this? I said, dude, you don't sign it, they'll lock you down. You already locked down, you'll get a write up and a lockdown, might got to send you to the hole, you know, and take some days away. So it's all kind of threatening going on to them. Because I had to bring it back, sit down at my computer, or it's communal computer, sit down there and put in the paperwork, put in the information on the, in the folders. And then, make sure it's all taken care of, and then file away that paperwork. Because when it's a prison, so you're going to have the state come in and look at your paperwork, and also look at the digital, but also the handwritten, the other forms. Kind of find out during COVID and other times, what was happening was they would have the inmate sign as if class was going on. Now, during COVID, I wasn't there, but I was there in 2023, so 2022, I think, somewhere around that time, COVID ended or whatever. So there was moving around after that. So they would take them homework or whatever, let them work on it, pick it back up, grade it, and all that kind of stuff. Supposedly, I wasn't there. But now, we wasn't taking them into work. And I started seeing all this. I'm getting threats from inmates, and then an officer the night before I got called in the closet with an inmate, and I wasn't having it. I mean, it's like, what? Like I said, I was a correctional officer up to the rank of lieutenant in South Carolina. Now I'm in Florida working as a teacher in a prison, and there's professionalism on, in there, absolutely. But then there's also loosey-goosey inmates now with the tablets they have, able to text the teacher after work, which is forbidden, able to communicate, know about them and what they're doing and everything. Some got dismissed, some got charged. So my thing on what I'm saying is, I've been a teacher. It's only about 4 months there, but it was a lifetime when you're working in the prison. Let me tell you something. And the activity I saw, I was like, this is This is illegal. So one of the teachers went to the state and started an investigation, was a witness, and the state started an investigation. So I was like, yes, this is a good time for me to go. So I left. But I wanted to, and I have written state officials, and I think I'm always looking for a crusade. I think this might be it. Um, Let me know. Tell me what you think. Is your money, for those in Florida or any other state, your money, and where the state is with private security prisons is they have to have the, you know, they have to make a profit. So the inmates come to them, whatever that prison at in the state, to keep the capacity up to, I believe, at least 80%, which is a good business model. Don't get me wrong. But the other things that are done need to be checked, regulated, looked into, that make sure that things are done right. So I'm gonna leave her alone, and I'm gonna move on to some others, and I'm gonna get off here on TikTok for now, because the way I got it set up, I don't know how it's sounding, but I just wanted to touch bases on TikTok, and maybe I do it specifically with TikTok on the next little show. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know. God bless. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down and start another show in a minute. But I just wanted to try this out because it is good to know, and it's good to